These words may sound simple, but if your heart is hurting because your husband, your children, or your grandchildren no longer go to church, then this message is for you. Padre Pio knew this pain well. Many mothers came to him in tears saying, "Father, I go alone. My family mocks my faith. My house feels empty." And with compassion in his eyes, Padre Pio gave them spiritual weapons, not theories, but practices that touch heaven when everything seems lost. Maybe you know this pain. You kneel in church, but the pew beside you is empty. You pray the Rosary, but the voices of your children are absent. At night, you cry silently, asking yourself, "Where did I go wrong? Why are they so far from God?" Padre Pio said, "This is not a coincidence. It is a battle for the soul of your family," and he warned that if you do nothing, the enemy will not rest until faith is extinguished in your home. But there is hope. Padre Pio taught 4 spiritual practices that can rescue even the most distant heart. 4 keys that transform your tears into offerings, your loneliness into intercession, your pain into protection. Today you will discover them. Before we begin, write in the comments the first name of the person in your family who is far from the church. Padre Pio said, "The name written with faith is heard in heaven." And if you believe this message is for you, give this video a like and subscribe now. Every week we reveal hidden teachings of Padre Pio to protect your soul and your family. Stay with me, because what you are about to hear may be the turning point for your family's salvation. The first practice Padre Pio taught was the Rosary, but not just any rosary. He called it a weapon, a chain that binds the enemy, but only if prayed in the right way. Too often we pray distracted, rushing through the beads, repeating words with no soul. Padre Pio warned that a rosary prayed like this is weak. It does not pierce the heavens. He said that a rosary offered with tears, with sacrifice, with the weight of your pain, becomes fire in the hands of God. Imagine a mother kneeling with aching knees, whispering each Hail Mary with the name of her son lost in addictions. Imagine a grandmother offering her loneliness, her illnesses, her silent tears, uniting them with the sorrowful mysteries. This is the way Padre Pio prayed. He believed that when you place your suffering inside the prayer, it stops being repetition and becomes offering. And he insisted, the rosary prayed with love and tears has a value different in heaven. This is not superstition. It is the mystery of sacrifice. Every tired night, every humiliation, every abandonment can become a drop of oil that makes the prayer burn brighter. Padre Pio said that when you pray the rosary like this, even if your children are miles away, even if your husband has not entered a church in years, the grace of God travels to them. The rosary becomes a bridge that no darkness can destroy. If you are holding on to the rosary for your family, write below, "I will not stop praying." Let your words be your act of faith. The second practice Padre Pio taught was the silent offering during the Holy Mass. He explained that many conversions do not happen through words, but through hidden acts, quiet sacrifices made before the altar. Padre Pio said the most powerful moment is at the consecration, when the priest lifts the body of Christ. In that instant, heaven opens in a way that human eyes cannot see. The angels bow, the saints intercede, and the heart of the Father listens with greater intensity. How many times have you gone to Mass carrying the weight of your family, but left with the same sadness, thinking that nothing changed? Padre Pio warned that it is not enough to simply ask, "Lord, bring my son back to church." He said the secret is to place that soul into the chalice, to offer it silently with the bread and wine. In that moment you are not begging, you are surrendering, and heaven responds to surrender with mercy. Imagine a mother kneeling in silence. The moment of consecration arrives, and she whispers only in her heart, "Jesus, I place my daughter into your hands." At that very second, even if the daughter is far away, even if she is lost in sin, a thread of grace begins to touch her. Padre Pio saw it with his spiritual eyes. He testified that souls began to change at the exact moment of elevation, when a mother or father dared to entrust them completely. This practice is not about emotions, it is about faith. When the priest raises the host, you raise the name of your loved one in silence. It is a holy exchange. You give God your pain, He gives your family His mercy. Who would you place on the altar today? Write that name below as your silent offering. The third practice Padre Pio taught is one that very few people know, the act of reparation. He explained that when a family abandons the church, it is not only a personal choice, it is also a wound in the heart of Christ. Every empty pew, every ignored mass, every indifference is a silent pain that rises to heaven. Padre Pio called this abandonment a spiritual wound, and he insisted that someone in the family must repair it. Reparation does not mean shouting at your loved ones or forcing them back to church. It means silently offering a sacrifice in their place. Padre Pio recommended that once a week, during the month of the Sacred Heart, you choose a concrete act of penance, fasting from something you love, praying 10 minutes on your knees, giving up a comfort, or embracing a hidden suffering with love. These small acts, when united to Christ, become like flowers placed at the foot of the altar. Imagine a grandmother who offers her morning coffee as a sacrifice for her son who has not confessed in years. Or a mother who decides to kneel and pray for 10 minutes at midnight, offering her fatigue for her daughter who rejects the faith. These gestures seem small, but in the spiritual world, they are powerful. Padre Pio said, "To repair is to love for another, to say, 'Lord, he does not love you, but I love for him.' Through this practice, you become a shield for your home. You stand in the gap where no one else will. You carry the cross that your loved ones refuse to carry, and heaven takes notice of that. If you are willing to repair for your family, write below, 'I will stand in the gap.' Let this be your silent declaration of love." The fourth practice Padre Pio taught is the most powerful and the most forgotten, the consecration of the family to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Padre Pio warned that homes without this seal are exposed to invisible attacks. He said, "Consecration is like a spiritual contract signed in heaven. And when you consecrate your family, even if they are far away, their names are written in the burning heart of Christ, and that mark cannot be erased. You may think, 'But my children will not accept this. My husband mocks my faith.' Padre Pio said that you can consecrate them even without their presence. Kneel before an image of the Sacred Heart, or even a simple drawing, and one by one pronounce their names with faith. Say, 'Jesus, take my home in your hands. Engrave in your heart every name of my family, even if they reject you, mark them with your love." Padre Pio taught this prayer himself in silence for families torn apart by unbelief. This practice is like placing an invisible seal on the soul. One day, when the moment of grace comes, that seal will burn and awaken the heart. No distance, no rebellion, no sin is stronger than the Sacred Heart of Jesus. If you believe your family needs this seal of protection, give this video a like and subscribe now. By doing so, you join thousands who are learning the hidden spiritual warnings of Padre Pio for the salvation of their homes. Padre Pio always emphasized that the month of June, dedicated to the Sacred Heart of Jesus, is not just a devotion, but a battlefield. He explained that in June, the heart of Christ is more open, more sensitive to the prayers of mothers, wives, and grandmothers who cry out with tears. This is a time of mercy, a window of grace that should not be wasted. He warned that many faithful stop fighting at this exact moment. They pray with discouragement. They resign themselves to thinking nothing will change, and that surrender gives the enemy ground. Padre Pio said, "When everything seems lost, that is when heaven begins to act. But you must pray as one who knocks at the door of a miracle." So June is not just another month. It is the chosen time to apply these four practices with faith: the Rosary as sacrifice, the silent offering at Mass, the weekly act of reparation, and the consecration of your family. This is not routine, it is war, and Padre Pio promised, Whoever is faithful in this month will see impossible things happen. If you accept this challenge of the Sacred Heart, write below, June is my month of battle. Let the heavens see your declaration of faith. Padre Pio knew the deep discouragement that strikes when you have prayed for years without seeing any change. How many times have you gone to Mass alone, held the Rosary with tears, whispered names at night, and still your husband stays distant, your children mock the church, your house feels spiritually cold? He warned that this discouragement is one of the enemy's greatest weapons. The devil whispers, "Nothing will change, give up," and many faithful surrender at this point. But Padre Pio taught that these moments of silence are not abandonment by God, but tests of faith. He compared prayer to seeds in the ground. For a long time you see nothing, only dirt, but hidden beneath life is forming. He said, when it seems useless, that is when your prayer is most powerful. Imagine a mother who prayed 20 years for her husband. Nothing changed until one Sunday he suddenly entered the church, fell to his knees, and confessed with tears. That miracle was not instant. It was the fruit of hidden prayers, silent offerings, and sacrifices united to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. So do not measure prayer by quick results. Measure it by faith. The Sacred Heart of Jesus promised that no prayer offered with love is wasted. Padre Pio insisted, the prayer of a mother with tears is unstoppable in heaven. One of Padre Pio's most hidden teachings was about the invisible mark placed on a family through consecration and reparation. He explained that even if your children live far from God, if they are consecrated, they carry a seal. They may ignore it, they may resist, but grace will pursue them until the last breath. He said, when a soul is consecrated to the Sacred Heart of Jesus, even in rebellion, the fire of love will burn within at the appointed hour. That means your daughter who laughs at your faith today may one day wake up in tears, touched by a sudden grace. Your son, who has abandoned the church, may suddenly feel restless, unable to escape the mark of Christ. Padre Pio reminded the faithful that mothers and grandmothers often hold the key to this mark. Your prayers, your tears, your sacrifices engrave their names on the heart of Jesus. You may not see the fruit now, but the seal is eternal. Imagine your family as a house surrounded by storms. Without consecration, the walls crumble. With consecration, an invisible shield rises, unseen but unbreakable. That is the power Padre Pio passed on to those who trusted his guidance. Whose name do you want to see sealed in the Sacred Heart of Jesus? Write it below as your invisible mark of faith. Padre Pio taught that many families suffer not only from disagreements or bad habits, but from invisible battles taking place inside the home. He explained that when children stop going to church, when a husband rejects prayer, when constant arguments break peace, it is often because the enemy has already entered, not with chains or fire, but with small seeds, distraction, pride, resentment, indifference. He said that the devil fears families who pray together because a praying home becomes an altar. That is why the enemy tries to silence prayer, to make you feel alone, to convince you that nothing matters. Padre Pio warned, the devil trembles at a mother who prays with faith, but he flees in terror from the mother who prays and acts. This is why the 4 practices are not optional, but weapons. The Rosary offered as sacrifice, the silent offering at Mass, the weekly act of reparation, and the consecration to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. These are not pious extras. They are shields of protection. Your home may feel fragile, but with these practices it becomes a fortress. And remember, a single heart that stands firm in prayer can change the destiny of an entire house. Padre Pio promised that those who remain faithful, who pray with sacrifice and consecrate their families, will see miracles. Not always quickly, not always in the way we imagine, but miracles that mark eternity. He told the faithful, heaven does not ignore a soul that prays with love. Think of the mother who prayed for decades and finally saw her children return to confession. or the husband who was consecrated without knowing it, and in his final days asked for the Eucharist. These are not coincidences. They are the fruit of prayers watered with tears and sealed in the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Padre Pio explained that sometimes the miracle is not only the conversion of your loved ones, but also your own transformation. Through prayer and sacrifice, your heart becomes stronger, your faith deeper, your loneliness filled with divine presence. And that change becomes a light that attracts others back to God. If you are waiting for a miracle in your family, write below, "I believe in God's timing." Let this be your testimony of trust. Padre Pio did not want the faithful to live with vague promises. He gave concrete steps, and one of them was the 9-day challenge to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. He explained that when you repeat the 4 practices, the Rosary offered as sacrifice, the silent offering during Mass, the weekly act of reparation, and the consecration of your family. For 9 consecutive days, you build a chain of grace so strong that the enemy cannot break it. He warned, "Do not treat this lightly. It is not a devotion to pass the time. It is a battle." Each day you offer a new sacrifice. Each day you whisper the names of your loved ones. Each day you seal your home under the Sacred Heart. By the end of those 9 days, something shifts in the spiritual world. Grace flows in ways unseen, and miracles begin to take root. This is not superstition, it is faith in action. The 9-day challenge is like marching around the walls of your family's unbelief until they fall, like Jericho. It is your declaration that you will not give up. Padre Pio promised, those who embrace this challenge with tears, sacrifice, and unwavering love will see impossible doors open. Now you know the 4 spiritual practices Padre Pio taught to rescue families. The Rosary prayed as sacrifice, the silent offering at Mass, the weekly act of reparation, and the consecration to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. You have also discovered the 9-day challenge, a concrete path of perseverance and faith. The question now is not whether God will act, but whether you will remain faithful long enough to see his promise fulfilled. Padre Pio said, "Heaven does not ignore a soul that prays with love. Your tears, your sacrifices, your lonely prayers at night are not wasted. They are seeds planted in the heart of Christ, and one day they will bear fruit. Maybe the miracle will come in your husband's final days, maybe in the sudden conversion of your child, maybe in the hidden transformation of your own heart, but it will come, because the Sacred Heart never abandons those who fight with love." If this message touched your soul, write below, "Padre Pio, guide my soul." Let this be your testimony that you reached the end and that you are ready to keep fighting. Give a like if you believe Padre Pio is interceding for families today. Subscribe now so you don't miss the hidden teachings and spiritual warnings of Padre Pio every week. Do not stop here. Continue watching the next video about Padre Pio on this channel. Each teaching builds your shield of protection. God bless you.